Hey, what up? It's your girl, KP, Kisha Pollard, or AKA Miss Always Amazing. I'm back. It's time for another episode. We are going to do a slight deviation from my hashtag Evolution Chronicles to talk about respect. Let's talk about respect, baby. Let's talk about you and me. And of course, there's a real song, right? RESPECT that I could have shared. But it's my podcast, so I do what I want, right? That's a thing. Oh, isn't she lovely? Look who got a new picture. Medium length hair, don't care. She cute, she cute. I've been busy. Let's see. Working on some logo, trying to keep up with the homies. They're out here killing the game. Martre, Jonathan, Teflon John, Willie Sanders, A.T. Jones, I believe is his name. Yeah, so your girl has to, make it official. So Instagram, Kisha Pollard, Facebook, Kisha Pollard, and now YouTube, Kisha Pollard. There's nothing a secret. Send a request if you want to be a part of the movement. The movement will be televised. Hit your girl up. Yeah, I've just been on my grind, like really trying to invest in myself. This is a passion for me. It's something that I love to do. I have an amazing 9 to 5 that gives me the opportunity in evenings and on the weekends to really put some time into investing into something that I love to do. I absolutely love to do, so much so. So if you didn't get the announcement, your girl has been asked to collaborate and write a blog for Teflon John at www.iamteflonjohn.com. And my podcast will also be featured there. It's an amazing opportunity for Jonathan to want to partner with me or to collaborate. It gives me another platform, another modality, a repository, if you will, to house all of my work. But also this blog thing will be new. I will probably take this podcast and write my blog for next week. I've committed to, y'all pray, I've committed to do one a week. So your girl will be busy. But as you all know, graduation is coming up. And I might have some free time on my hands, and I'm down for continuing to perfect my craft and do something that I love to do. So I'm excited and grateful for the opportunity of him wanting to partner. Today, I had my final dress rehearsal for the dance that I'm doing at the spring show tomorrow. Me and the other moms of the pep squad, the dance team, the cheerleaders, of course, the senior moms are proudly blazing the front, and your girl is front and center. I've worked hard. I might, in my podcast next week, I might give y'all a snippet. I think my daughter and my sister are going to come to record. So, but it'll be emotional. It will be Shakoya's last, high school shindig, hurrah. Then we have on the 9th of May, she has her banquet. I'm excited. I'm grateful for the opportunity to support her. I killed it. Oh my gosh, did you practice Shakoya's mom? Yeah. Hold on, I wasn't captain and co-captain for all those years in high school to not come here and represent 19 years later. Girl, bye. So that's been the highlight of my week, is practicing. We have practice today, and the show is tomorrow. If you happen to be in San Antonio, $7, get at me. I'll get your ticket so you can come and partake. The dance is a minute and a half, so don't expect change of wardrobe and an encore. It is what it is. But I'd love to have you guys support me. So respect. Whoop, whoop. The last time I did my podcast, I talked about an incident that me and my friend had that didn't end so well. We had another run-in that didn't end so well, and it got me to noodling. I watched Nipsey Hussle's memorial service today, and it really sent me to a place of reflection. Pain is real, so I think about Lauren London, his children, his family. His brother, the relationship with him and his brother seemed extremely endearing. And I believe that sometimes the stronger of the two goes, right? Of course, had it been his brother, Samuel, I'm sure Nipsey would have been stoic and strong. But sometimes these things have to happen so that strength can be shown in other people. And I put this together, when I think about respect, that is a picture of Nipsey Hussle, Aramis, Lord, I apologize, Askadome, I practiced this so many times, Aramis, I practice it. I guess I need to run it back. Anywho, that's him and his mother, Angelique Smith. And I saw an interview that she did a few days ago when she was talking about she's at perfect peace. She understands that although to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, she was not concerned. I mean, she will miss her son, right? But she said, I know that Nipsey is enjoying knowing that he understands the mystery of death. He has conquered the grave. So, it was encouraging. And I added this because out of respect for her, even at the memorial today, she was strong. I mean, there was moments of reality, right, when she would tear up thinking about her son no longer being there. But she shared in the interview, he did not look like what he had been through. There was no residue of trauma on him. He smelled sweet. And I am confident that, Lord forbid something happens to me, I'm confident my mom would be the same way. She's an extremely strong woman, and she knows that this is not eternal. This life that we have today is yet a vapor, and so to have experienced it at all is amazing, and every day gets even more and more amazing. So I just wanted to shout her out. I mean, it was encouraging as a mom, as a believer. She did get into veganism and herbs, and really trying to live a life that keeps us more closely connected to the Spirit. So I thought that was a great, and I know that Nipsey was working on like a documentary about holistic approaches to medicine and to health. But I couldn't allow today to pass and not show respect for his mom, because I appreciate what she represented for us today. It was important. And they shared the meaning of his name is God is Rising, which made me to look up my friend's name. His name means battle warrior. And it made me think, oh, he has a mantle. He has a mantle that he's having to walk out. And I looked up mine too. It was pretty interesting. My YouTube page is a rose by any other name. It's still a rose, right? And I feel the same way about myself. So Kisha, what does it mean? Extreme in fortune, health, and spirituality. I am very versatile, idealistic, and intuitive. I enjoy great success. I'm going to proclaim I enjoy great success. The solution is service to others. I have talked on this podcast about being a servant leader. Serving others is my calling in life. Hands down, there's nothing better for me to do than to be serving, volunteering, just helping, sewing into others, # support each other. I love to do it. That's just what I love to do. I use my leadership abilities for humanity and not for selfish glorification. I am intuitive, and I might be interested in the arts, drama, or science. I think this counts as an art, right? I would say so. I am creative and outgoing. I am always looking for an opportunity to show my abilities, especially before an audience. We'll see tomorrow, right? We will see tomorrow. I am very flexible. I would say so, right? Physically and in other ways. And I like to feel appreciated. My love language, one of my top love language is acts of service, then quality time, because it does drive the feeling of appreciation and value. I'm always looking for chances to mix with others socially and communicate my ideas. There's a time and a place. I didn't know that I was an introvert until 2012 when I was spending some time in Amarillo. And they were like, Kisha, you're an introvert. Me, the captain of the cheerleading squad, an introvert? How dare you? How insulting. I was offended. But when I looked it up, no, that's me. I have to force myself to mingle and intertwine with other people at a networking event or at a party. So no, but I do like idea sharing. I like ideation sessions, so that's dope. I like to talk, I guess. So, right, I've been doing this, episode 6 on the podcast. I do easily get bored. Food is a great way for me to get unbored. I can move from one job to another, switch projects and lovers. Imagine that. That one's not true. The high creative force can lead you either to happiness or unhappiness. I would agree with that. If you understand your goals, if you can make major decisions in life and follow it directly and straight up without worry and uncertainty, you are able to achieve great heights. Salah, it is so. So look your name up. See how close it is. I mean, that's pretty spot on. There was another one that said that Kisha means, first of all, it's a nickname for Lakeisha, and mine is just Kisha, and it shared that it's great joy. And I thought, man, what a mantle to have. So, sometimes it makes sense. Could be very much so coincidence. Because that my friend's been like, the peacekeeper. I thought, nah, that's wrong. That ain't even close to being true. So I want to talk about respect. I shared last time the conflict that my friend and I had and how it went super gross. And today I began to get and even not just today, but after we had another encounter, like what in the world is happening? I began to kind of dissect what is going on here. And so some of the triggers, right? Boundaries aren't just crossed, they're completely ignored. We lost all boundaries. Like it was gloves on or maybe gloves off. We are street fighting, figuratively, right? There was no physical at all. Completely ignored any type of boundaries. We crossed lines that I pray we'll be able to uncross, to undo. Communication becomes disrespectful. It is, I am going for your jugular. It is worse than F you. It is, no, that's why you're insecure about X, Y, and Z. Well, no, that's why you're insecure about X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 9, 2, 3. It got gross. And in that moment, I lost respect for myself. I will be 100% honest and say, at some point in that 3-hour exchange, I lost respect for myself. And you guys heard a 5-minute version of like, nah, I'm done. I don't have time for this. Hang up the phone. Then a few days later, we had another like, what in the world? And when it was over, I felt horrible. I knew the friendship would be over because of all the things listed here. Boundaries were crossed. Well, boundaries were not only crossed, but completely ignored. We didn't think about the consequences of our actions. And I didn't respect myself anymore. And I wanted to know what triggered that. I don't know where the breakdown happened to where I completely lost respect for him as a person. 100 grand, absolutely the truth. I lost respect for him. And I have, it happens. In my blog, I'm going to write about my relationship with my dad, who was an alcoholic. We were in a horrible car accident at the mercy of his drunk driving, or at the hands of his drunk driving. We survived by the mercy and grace of God. And although he's always shown up, I love my father. Sometimes the respect is like, dude, I have keys. I don't have to sit here and listen to this. And maybe that's the trigger. Willie Sanders talked about triggers. And maybe when I feel myself backed into a corner, similarly to my dad, and I was talking to someone else, and daddy issues are real, but they're not excuses. So I share this to say not as an excuse, but when I think about it, that could be the trigger, right? So someone that I love my dad, but there's also a level of respect that I think has been lost. And on the next slide, I'll talk about repairing it. But when you love someone and somehow respect, not even it's not a trust, it's not even a trust issue. Somehow you lose respect for them. Talk about super gross. It's like empty. Um it feels like it feels strange, like a stranger. And we've talked a few times since then, right? Since we took a few days and didn't no communication at all, and now it's like action. Let the acting begin, because now I feel wounded, and I'm sure he does too. Because there were no boundaries, zero zilch nada, no boundaries. The conversation was gross and filled with statements of resentment, and they say you can't take words back once you've said them. But we just kept going until it ended with, I'm going to go. And that's what he shared. I'm going to get off of here. And we didn't talk for some days. And even now we're trying to repair it. So speaking of repair, right? When two people respect each other, the ability to be vulnerable and to reveal hurt feelings can create a powerful emotional connection that is the source of real intimacy and friendship. This is my friend that I'm talking about. One of my very best friends. And the respect that I had for him, and Lord willing, we'll be able to regain. It'll take some time. I mean, when you have developed it, when you have created an environment where you can be yourself unfiltered, now it just seems like there's all these prefaces and caveats, and let me be clear, and I'm trying to ensure that there's no additional hurt. No, that's not a jab. That's not a wound. So when you think about, if you want to move forward, and so from the last slide, I did my research. I went to that website at the bottom. Feel free to check it out for more references, and also on here, Psychology Today. Like, how do you repair it? So choose to regain respect. It's a choice. Happiness is a choice. Although I'm sure respect is one. I didn't choose to lose it though. Like that's I didn't check a box. There wasn't like some moment where I was like, nope, it's gone. I don't respect you. I just think over time, I believe that out of the abundance of your heart, our mouth speak. And both of our mouths spoke for sure. So I'm not going to separate myself from the disgusting things that I said. But choose to regain respect. Open your mind and your heart. And I still feel like we have to have a conversation. Like, we just need to talk about it. We need to say, I have a burning desire to apologize. And I don't know if that's out of me being a people pleaser, or if that's how I really feel. I am absolutely sorry about the things that I said. The people pleaser in me is like, no, apologize so that you can move on. Like, but then there's a part of me that wants to talk it out. And how do we get here? What are our separate issues that allowed us to, on the previous slide, to disregard all boundaries? There's hurt there. There's something that we are both hurt about, or something that we resent each other for, that we got to talk about. I was willing to write the friendship off. I think I said that before. But this time I was okay. If that's how it ends, what do? You watch all these messages and podcasts and Facebook Lives about toxic people and removing them. But my life is better with them in it. So I think today, right? Listen with compassion and curiosity. I know and understand that there's an underlying issue. Just like in my marriage, there was a point when I lost respect. And when that happens, it is on like popcorn. And I couldn't regain it. I was able to have a level of civility and even peace, to be honest. But when things weren't right, oh no, they were all the way wrong. So I'm trying to practice being compassionate. I've already shared that I've been cloaked with a blanket of curiosity. So God, help me to be compassionate. I've had since hearing Willie's live about triggers, I feel like that's been a test for me, one after the other, and it just provokes me to be so short with people. So Lord, help me to be compassionate in every situation, to take a moment and understand, why are you reacting this way? Like, what in the world? Like, why is this your response? And then lastly, do it for yourself. I want to apologize for me. I've already repented, and I know that behavior is not pleasing. And I'm so sorry. Like, I just want to make it right. And sometimes you may never get the opportunity to, and that's fearful, right? To know that I could go to sleep and not wake up, or he could too, or for whatever reason we just don't speak again. And I guess would you write a letter? Like, what do you do? How do we? And we're great communicators, so I know that when the time is right, we'll have the conversation. We'll talk through like what is going on, and really share our different perspectives. But it definitely felt like two extremely hurt people. And I'm doing a podcast tomorrow to talk about expectations, but I know that expectations are the mother of disappointments. So I can only assume with a high confidence, a high certainty of confidence, that there was something that I was expecting, good, better, and different, right, that didn't come to fruition, or response I was expecting. So my disappointment allowed me to be hurt and frustrated, because as you mentioned, my name means to serve. So in my serving, there's never an expectation, right, of reciprocation. But if there's an opportunity or in conversation to not recognize the serving, to disregard it, it can cause hurt feelings. So if nothing else, do it for yourself. Even if there's no reconciliation, at least you can make peace, right? To move on. I desire to understand it all the better, because I am so curious, and I want to learn from. This life is about learning. A week ago, I learned 7/8 counts to Beyonce music, to dance at a high school. It's all about learning. I need to finish my master's. It's all about learning. This whole podcast and blogging world is all about learning. It's all about investing in ourselves. And it's not often that you find people, or that people come into your life that makes it better. I've been extremely fortunate and blessed. And I know that it's not happenstance or coincidence. That I have connected with such amazing people. So when there's a fracture in one of them, even if it's not to be reconciled and to mend, to move forward, let us regain our respect for one another. Talk about the issue, what's happening here, and start anew, Lauren London said Nipsey always shared with her, you don't own people, you experience them. And that gives me pause, how lucky I am to have experienced so many amazing people that fortunately, most of them are still here. So I want to continue to respect, and I want to continue to honor the experience. Again, if it's over, then that if the friendship is over, then I'm okay there. But I want to honor myself in honoring that experience. Closing thoughts. It is always progress, not perfection. And I'm going to get a shirt with that made on it. Hopefully in rose gold, looking a white t-shirt, rose gold letters, progress, not perfection. That's what all this is about. We weren't created to be perfect. That's why Jesus had to die, right? We were not perfect. We all say, cast the stone. Thou who hasn't sinned, cast the first stone. You're living in a glass house. I'm not perfect, but I want to acknowledge my progress. I want to learn from my progress. At work, we talk about fail fast, learn quickly. I fail slow sometimes and learn even slower, because we have to vet that through all the emotions and all the insecurities, all the psyche, all the moments of, how are those words impacting you today? How are those words activating a trigger? How are those words substantiating or validating an insecurity that you already have? You have to determine if it's worth the work, right? You honor the experience. Doesn't mean you have to put in work to rebuild it. If your house burns down to the ground, you can file the claim and pay the mortgage off and move on. That is an acceptable practice. Or you can rebuild your house. Take 6 to 9 months to rebuild your house from the bottom up. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Only you can determine that. Only you know the work that you want to put in to mend. How great is the experience? Excuse me, Lord. This microphone's amazing. My apologies. Forgive yourself and apologize. I immediately repented, right? God, I'm sorry. Completely acted outside of my character. I know better. But I can recall the moment when I felt hurt. I heard it today. Hurt people, right? That's the thing. I lashed out. It went personal. We got boundaries because there wasn't any respect. And I'm not good at saying I'm sorry. I'm not. Well, I am when it's empty. That sounds ugly too. When it's necessary. When there's been an infraction on both sides, it's like, can we just call it a nil? Like, can we just wipe the slate clean? But it's such a growing place for me because I honestly haven't had to say I'm sorry a lot. Lately, it feels like that's all that I'm saying. I'm sorry that I didn't. I'm sorry that I said. I'm sorry that I wasn't my best me, And do not. I'm sorry that you feel that way. That's not an apology. I am sorry. I know better. You deserve better. You can only control yourself. Manage your expectations. I can only control Kisha Michelle Pollard. I have pseudo control over Kiara and Shakoya. But I can manage my expectations. It's hard to expect anything from anybody else. Only myself. Again, I can set requirements. I can set rules of engagement of how you will interact with me, what I will tolerate. But I can't expect anything. It's kind of like, Nipsey's saying, you don't own anybody, you just experience them. It's the same thought. Yes, there's rules of engagement. There's things that are required. There's things that I will tolerate. But when you expect something, you're setting yourself up for a disappointment or for frustration. Unless that there's been a conversation around what are the rules of engagement. This is how I am committing to you that this is how I will treat you. So you can know that I've committed to treat you a certain way. I really try to work on expectations. I really, really try to. We talk about them at work all the time, and you have to temper and manage that. People are going to be people, and not that we should be waiting to be hurt, but we're not absolved from the opportunity. So how do we deal with it the best way that we know how? And lastly, y'all know what it is. No guilt, no judgment, no shame, only love. And that's how it goes. I am grateful for everybody that listens, every like, every comment. Share. If you have a similar experience, if you got some words of wisdom that'll help your girl out, I'm just trying to be a better me. Those hashtags are not empty. They're full of substance. They're full of experiences. They're full of examples. My best life, make it amazing. The next one will be best self. They're not empty. And that's what this life is all about, is being able to share and to talk through and to be vulnerable, right? To gain respect. And I'll keep you guys posted, That's what we do. That's what this community is about. This is my extended village. I don't know what's a town. You guys I have a village and there's the town, right? Where we support each other. Think of it not strange, that after having listened to this, maybe you'll get a respect test, right? And so you'll be able to say, hold on, I feel like we're about to go into fighting without boundaries. Why would we treat each other that way? Like what is happening here? It's such an out of body experience. I was so enthralled. I couldn't get out of it. My pride was up. My ego was, I was peacocking. The ego was real. The negative ego was real. But inside there was a little girl saying, see, I told you. See, I told you. No, I told you he would say that. No. You've heard that before. Oh, see, look, he's the second person that said it. Yeah, so it's a thing. You're this, you're that, you're the third. So just being able to take a moment and digest all of that. I appreciate the time, the days and days and days that I didn't hear from him. But I spent some time catching up with another great friend and being encouraged and deposited into. So God knows what our needs are all the time, right? But think of it not strange if you find yourself in a respect test, a respect challenge. Refer back to the nuggets, right? Is it worth it? Forgive yourself. Is the juice worth the squeeze? How do we become better people? That's what this life is about. I definitely plan to write a blog that'll be at iamteflonjohn.com to talk about my dad, my relationship with my dad, and how, again, I love my father. So don't allow any seeds of that to get out, right? I love my father. But sometimes a person's choices can deteriorate your respect for them. Repeated choices. I love him though. I accept him for who he is. I don't expect anything differently. I just know what those rules of engagement are for me and him. But I love him. He's been there. He's not. I don't have an absent father by any stretch of the imagination. So, but this is KP signing out. You guys have an amazing evening. Your girl is off of work tomorrow. So you guys have a great night, an amazing Friday, a fabulous weekend. And we, my friends, get to do this again next week. KP out.